Good evening, everyone. Thanks and welcome for joining in. I am Nishtha Anand, author of Awakening the Rainmaker, A Guide to Gender Equality. To give you a little bit of a background on me and the book, I am an investment banking and strategy professional. And throughout my career, I saw the lack of women leaders, or as we call it in investment banking, the rainmakers. I dig a little deep, and facts like less than 3% CEOs are women, or India ranks as low as 140 out of 156 nations on the Global Gender Gap Index baffled me. Could I ever be one? Was a question mark in my mind. And thus began the journey to write Awakening the Rainmaker, a guide to gender equality for all women like you and me. In the process of writing this book, I interviewed some of the phenomenal ladies in India, some among Fortune and Forbes 50 most powerful women, scientists, mathematicians, Padma Shri winning sports people, digital influencers, and content creators. And that is how I got the opportunity of interacting with the amazing Chavi Mittal. Welcome to the stream, Chavi. Thank you so much for accepting my request.
Thank you so much, Nishtha. I love the introduction that you gave about the book, and I'm baffled to hear the statistics myself. But thank you so much for writing a book like that on that topic.
Thank you so much, Chavi. And Chavi's content, of course, reaches out to millions of people. And I myself have been a big fan. But let me try to give a little bit of introduction on Chavi as well. So, Chavi is the co founder of the digital production company Shitty Ideas Trending, which is among the top content creators in the country. She reaches out to over 7 million people across platforms. She's also the founder of Being Woman with Chavi, where she offers very practical advice to women on pregnancy, motherhood, healthcare, and wellness. I'm myself a fan of all her content across the platforms. So, welcome again, Chavi, and thank you so much for doing such great work and putting out such great content out there.
Oh, thank you, Nishtha.
So let's start with the fiery Q&A. So for the uninitiated, Shavi is among the rainmakers I interviewed for the book. And in fact, it was a dream come true when Chavi really accepted my request to give her inputs and wholeheartedly so for the book. I'll start with the questions now. So, Chavi, we have all seen you as an actor, and then your movement to digital platforms and OTT happened. So, what was your motivation?
To move to OTT,
Yeah.
well, I think as an actor, um, I felt like I'm restricting myself, and there's a lot more that I can do in life. I wanted to, give myself a chance at some point in life, and I think that impetus that I got happened when I became a mother the first time, and I realized that by just being an actor, and especially a television actor in Mumbai, I don't know how it happens across the globe, but in Mumbai, we need to work like 40 to 15 hours a day and 30 days a month. I call it 40 days a month. And with that kind of commitment towards your work, it's
Hmm.
practically impossible to be the kind of mother that I wanted to be. And I think
Right.
it's also very unfair to a child when you bring the person into the world and cannot give them the commitment that they deserve. So I decided that it was time to take a step forward. At that point in life, I didn't know that this was actually going to be a step forward for me. I just wanted to do something different, something which would be able to give me the creative satisfaction that I was sort of feeling stagnated with as an actor, and something that would also give me the kind of time that I wanted to spend with my daughter. Now it was a very conscious choice that I had made, that I'm not going to quit working altogether just to be with her, but I wanted to strike the correct balance in her life and mine, and that's how I started SIT. And it was a bit of luck, I would say, and also a lot of love from the audience
Right.
that were watching our content, that we realized that it's something good that we are doing here, and we got the encouragement to take it forward.
That's actually very relatable, Chavi. And that is a theme that came across in all the conversations that I had, be it you being an actor or, there are these leading lawyers who I've interviewed in the book, and they took a year off when they got pregnant. And back then, the maternity leave was not 6 months as we have now. And they said, we had to make those choices. Or there is this Padma Shri winning scientist who I've interviewed in the book, And she says, Nishta, I chose not to have kids because I wanted to prove myself as a scientist. And she's like, that's a sad choice for a woman to make, but at least I made that choice on my own terms. So what I'm hearing from this is, as long as women make these choices on their own terms, it is the right choice for them. You should not
Yeah,
be like, forced into it. Similarly, like what you
absolutely.
did, your choice on your own terms to make a switch or to pivot your career.
Yes.
So that's actually, so I'll move on to the next question, again related to motherhood. So I remember that you beautifully weaved in your pregnancy in the episodes on SIT. And coincidentally, so when you were pregnant, even I was expecting my first child then back in 2019. And I used to be in awe of those episodes, how you managed it so well. So, what was your experience like? And because why I ask this is also, which is important for our listeners to know, many women during their pregnancy are told to take it light, or just rest a little. Or even the interviews that I had, there were women who were like, we were told, okay, just move away from your important PNL bearing roles, take it light. So, did you face those challenges, and how did you tackle that?
Oh yes, absolutely. There were I was literally trolled in the beginning when I was working very um I was literally taking care of everything that I was before I got pregnant. And if I may say so, I started doing a lot extra when I became pregnant in terms of work. And I got a lot of people who would tell me that, you should take a back seat and you should rest. And why do you go to office? And why do you shoot? And why do you do this, that, and the other? And especially gymming, because I'm a fitness freak in a sense. I used to also do weightlifting while I was pregnant. And I think I lifted weights till about, I was 8 months pregnant. I was pretty big, and I kept hearing these comments, and I thought that how much can I keep explaining people? How
Right.
many people can I actually explain to that it's my choice, it's my body, I understand it well,
Hmm.
and I know when to take rest, and I know when to take a back seat, and I
Hmm.
have support. I have a support system in my husband and my family, and I really don't have much to worry about, and I'm good. You don't have to worry about me. And I decided that only if I continue to do what I'm doing is the
Hmm.
best answer that I can give them. And there are only so many people who actually come up to you face to face and tell you that, or leave a
Hmm.
comment on your social media. But there are so many others who are thinking it in their heads and talking about it amongst themselves. And
Right.
not just for me, I also feel that I am still somebody who has a voice, a little bit of a voice. But there are so many mothers out there, so many women out there who don't have a voice, or don't know how to voice their opinions.
Right.
So I feel that if I can set an example for others out there, even if a single person out there, if that can happen, then why not? So that's what kept me motivated all the time.
I think that's commendable, Chavi. In fact, you'll be surprised to know there are people who have read the book and who pinged me specifically on your story. They were like,
Oh,
we've seen her on screen and it's just so motivational to read it in paper too. So totally, you not only just have a small voice, I think you have a very relevant voice which reaches out to million people and can really bring
thank
that
you
change.
so much, Nisha. That means a lot to me, because really that's something that I really strive for. And in fact, I've written a book on, a lot of women struggle with postpartum weight loss, and they kind of start looking at themselves and their bodies in a different way. So
Mhm.
I've tried to put my whole experience in a book, and I've tried to, show the women, uh, help the women to be able to see their bodies in a more positive light.
That's very
Book is still
important.
to be published, but yeah, that's really something that I strive for. So thank
Yeah,
you.
I think we need more and more content out there which talks about these things. That's there. So I'll move on to the next bit, Chavi. So this was your experience when you were pregnant. Now talking about motherhood, what is your approach towards upbringing? Like at the back of your mind or somewhere, does gender of your children play a role? Like how do you approach that?
So I try to keep it as gender neutral as possible.
Hmm.
The most important thing that's there in my mind when I'm raising my children is that whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm saying to them, and whatever example I'm setting for them, am I making them independent individuals who will be able to take their own decisions when they grow up, or whatever actions that I'm showing them and setting examples of, are they something that that are going to make them dependent on other people when they grow up, emotionally as well as in any other way. So for me, the most important is independence. But I think at some level, I may say that I'm a little uh, biased with Arham because he's a boy, and I feel that. Um, I want to be very gender neutral, with both my kids, but I feel that I need to do a little extra to teach him to respect women because he's going to experience a lot of the opposite spectrum as he grows up. So, in
Right.
order to balance it, maybe I'm just overdoing it a little bit, but I feel that he really needs to know that women need to work and women are absolutely 50-50 with men. I'm not saying they're better. I'm not saying men are better. I'm not saying women are better at certain jobs and men are better at the others. I'm
Right.
saying Mohit and I, my husband and I both, we believe in equal parenting. We work as equals. We live as equals. He cooks in the kitchen. I cook in the kitchen. We both
Right.
do the cleaning together. We both do the raising of the children together. We both bathe them. We try to do everything
Hmm.
exactly the same way. We don't take roles. We don't say that, okay, you do this and I'll do that. No, we do everything 50-50, and it's more focused towards Arham because I feel that he, as a man of tomorrow, should really, really just know it in him that women and men are equals.
Actually, that
I
is
mean, it's a little upsetting that you actually have to do that and think about it like that, but
true. No, but that's actually very important because, even when I was doing the research for the book, and I was surprised that there is a KPMG study which shows that only 22% women feel that they're taught this value of self confidence as children. They are more, pushed towards being hard work and doing and being respectful in life. And people don't realize it. And that is why most women, as they grow up, they face those challenges in their careers when they're always second guessing themselves, or this term imposter syndrome, which has come to be very synonymous with women in general. People don't realize it, but all this lies, the roots of this lies in our childhood and how we are brought up. And even I'm a mother now, and I really try that, yes, I need to be gender neutral in my approach, because it's very important that we don't limit our kids because of their gender. And
yeah.
even if, be it your sons, daughters, even for your sons, if they want to, if they show interest in cooking or acting or anything which is not very male sorts, let them do it. Like, let them, take chance on themselves and decide for themselves. So that's very important if we want to make this talk of gender equality, a talk which is limited to our generation only. Let the next
Yeah,
generation.
I'd like to give an example here that the school that Ariza goes to is a Waldorf school, and they have a culture of one student in the class bringing the lunch for the entire class once a month. So there's
Wow.
one student who gets the turn to get the meal for the entire class once a month.
Right.
So when Ariza is asked who cooked this, it is always her father who's cooking. So when she says that, oh, my father made this, she gets a little extra praise and a little extra response, like, oh wow, your father cooks. And I want to say that why is the response not the same if the mother's cooking? I mean, how does it make a
Yeah.
difference? They're both making the same kind of effort, right? So that is
Right.
something which needs to change. People just need to stop thinking like that.
That's true, actually, and I think somewhere in the curriculum also needs a change. I don't know if you've heard this poem, "Mummy ki roti gol gol, Papa ke paise
Yeah.
gol gol." So
Yes.
there again, you are sowing those, sexist seeds somewhere that
Yes.
needs correction, and hence gender neutrality. More and more people following it can actually bring a consistent change for the
Yeah.
next generation. So I'll move on to the next question, Chavi. So you are an entrepreneur with SIT and with, being woman with Chavi. Have you faced any explicit or unconscious gender biases in your journey as an entrepreneur? Because there are so many ladies I interacted with, and you'll be surprised the kind of biases they have faced. So, for instance, Naya Sagi, the founder and CEO of Baby Chakra, she was in a fundraising round when she was pregnant, and some of the investors told her to her face, you should come back after your delivery. This
Oh.
is not the right time. So those, and she's a Harvard business alumna, so those things also didn't matter. It like sort of boils down to your biology and where you are in the stage of your life at that point. So as an entrepreneur yourself, did you face any biases?
So I'll tell you. I'll start with the time I was not an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You always tend to see these things when you're dealing with carpenters or plumbers or electricians when they come to your house to do some work, and when you're trying to tell them something, they sort of don't look at you and they look at the man and feel that, oh, he will know better, let me talk to him.
Right.
Okay, it still happens. And when I became an entrepreneur and when I started SIT, I thought that okay, maybe those people are probably, they've been brought up in a different way and it's difficult for them to understand that women can be equal and it's
Mm.
not the same anymore. But when I started going for meetings, this is obviously pre-COVID when we had meetings face to face, and I would try to say something in a meeting, I got the same glances from so many men who would not look at me, just bypass me as if I don't exist. And whatever I said, they would address the question to my husband. And
Mm.
it took me a while to understand, why are they doing that? Did I say something wrong? Did it not make sense? And I would, like you said, how we've been brought up and we always end up second guessing ourselves. And I'm thinking, did I make a mistake? But then I realized that at some point I just have to be assertive about what I'm saying and they will listen to me. And
That's
even as a woman, I feel that every time and I am an aggressive woman, when I get
mm.
aggressive, I think I get more eyeballs than my husband does, because they feel, अरे इतना क्यों aggressive हो रही है, ठीक है, relax,
Mm.
it's okay. So
Right.
that sort of thing still happens, but I've learned how to sort of, I also bypass those looks and I just come straight to the point and I just say what I have to say till the time they listen. But thankfully, over the years, now people have realized my role in my company, and I feel that my voice has better weightage now than it had earlier.
Mm.
But I wish that women didn't have to make so much of an effort in the
Yeah.
first place to be heard.
I think that's true, and that is my endeavor with even awakening the rainmaker somewhere, that I'm trying to bring about all those stories out to the people so that they know that even the young girls and women who have these ambitions and who are facing these challenges don't feel like they are the one-offs. they
Yeah,
they should know that even successful women like you or the other women who have interviewed in the book, even they have faced those challenges and they have overcome those, and
overcome them.
even
Right.
even they can pursue their passions. So related to this, Chavi, another question that comes to my mind is like, of course you have very clear views on things, the way you structure your content, be it on SIT or on Being Woman with Chavi. It's very progressive, and there have been times where you have been trolled as well, but I see that you really, you very confidently call out that behavior. So what gives you the strength? Because again, most women struggle with being assertive, and that said, the same thing that you said, and there again, because that stereotype is there in their mind, that they feel, especially in the corporate world, we expect women to be more participative in nature. So even when they're being assertive, they feel like, oh, will I come across as aggressive, and will this spoil my, image or my camaraderie with folks around? So how do you balance it, and what would be your advice to women? Be like, how do they really get that assertive demeanor out there?
Yeah, I think it's very important in no matter what profession you're in or what kind of family structure you're in or what kind of social structure you're in. The most important is that you're yourself. And I think the biggest struggle for all of us today, especially in the age of social media, is to be ourselves. I mean, you always want to put your best foot forward. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You want to be politically correct. And so many times nowadays, even politically, I feel that our voices are curbed so much.
Hmm.
But I for one wait for somebody to troll me. Like, you troll me and I'll tell you what I want to say. I mean, it's an opportunity for me, because I
Right.
know that whatever this person is saying to me, there are a lot of other people who are saying it to a lot of other women who don't have a voice, and I want to just say it out there without thinking about who's going to troll me further on what I have to say, because these are my views and I have the
Hmm.
right to speak my views. And
Right.
most importantly, I have the right to be myself. And that's what I want to tell everybody. So if somebody's saying something to you, if you want to say something back to them, say it. If you don't want to say anything, don't say it. But don't forget to be yourself. Don't change yourself just because you feel, oh, like my daughter, she's small, and children at this age, she's 9 years old, children at this age, are just beginning to understand peer pressure. So they feel every time she wears something, she feels, oh, what are people going to say? Is it looking nice? are they going to praise me? And that's the only thing I even try to tell her even today, that just be yourself. Do you feel comfortable in it? If you feel comfortable in it, just wear it and go. That's the most important. And that's exactly how it is with trolls. They are more often than not people who don't have a face. Firstly,
Hmm.
you will never see a face to a troll profile.
Right.
They don't have a face. Imagine how much they're hiding behind their walls, and imagine
Hmm.
how desperate they are to be who they are.
Right.
So I sort of, you know, I always send out a peace prayer to these people, and I feel that may God give them more strength to come out as who they are and stop trolling other people, and tell
Right.
them how to respect other people for who they are. So
Right.
that's the only thing. I mean, it's an
I think
opportunity. Just grab it.
no, I think that's very important. I think the main takeaway for me, even from this, is just be yourself. That's very
Yeah.
important. Have the courage to be yourself. So, Chavi, moving on to the next one, you've done so much work over the years, starting as an actor, YouTuber, these channels, SIT, Being Woman. So, were there other, stakeholders or other influencers in your career journey? Are there people other than you who've helped you or who have affected your career journey? Like, let's say Mohit, since he's your husband and co-founder, what role he has played, or maybe media people, some other colleagues. Uh, how would you say that these influencers have affected your career, or what role they play in it?
So I think Mohit has a very important role to play in it, because
Hmm.
he's I think at some point everybody needs that support system in your life, and he's that for me. So he's like I said earlier, we're literally sharing all the workload 50-50. That makes
Right.
a hell of a lot of difference. It's not that anything is one person's responsibility. So he's always there, and also I learn a lot from him, because I think he's very calm, and he's very um relaxed, and he does not panic very easily. And unlike me, he's not aggressive. He
Hmm.
knows how to handle situations non-aggressively. So there's a lot that I learned from him, and also he backs me up. He understands me the way I am, and he accepts me for who I am, which is the most important thing for me. Like I said, you should have the courage to be yourself. It's also important to have people around you who accept you the way you are, in your worst times and in your best times equally. And he
Right.
does that for me. So that gives me a lot of courage and a lot of confidence to be who I am.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And in fact, this relates so well to something I call the power punch framework in Awakening the Rainmaker, wherein I say, more often than not, women are told that you need to be multitasking divas when, maybe when you're becoming mothers and you really need to learn to manage things. But we never ask that you can expect help from people around you as well. Even they have certain responsibilities towards you as a woman, so that you can also pursue your passions. The way you said that Mohit is that support for you as a husband and as a co-founder, sharing that load with you, so that you as a team can perform much better. Similarly, that's what I draw a parallels in the power punch framework in the book as well, that even in corporate India, it's not just a woman's job to really continue with her career uninterrupted. She needs that support from five influencers, which are your the leadership team needs to have a clear vision. The reporting manager needs to be supportive and free of biases. Your peers and juniors have to be respective, and of course the human resources, which needs to have those strong policies in the organization. And only then will you make a strong fist and deliver that strong punch towards gender equality. So, like, a key takeaway for all the men and women listening out there, if you feel that you're not living your best life professionally, start asking for help and support. Like, question the status quo, and you'll be surprised the kind of change it can bring about in your life. I think that's very important.
Like a few days ago, I had a post, something similar to this, where I had written that it's always difficult for a mother to leave her kids behind when she goes for work, and there's mom guilt. A lot of mothers suffer from mom guilt, and there was a person who commented on that, which really that comment stayed with me. And in fact, I vlogged about it, which is not on air yet. It's going to stream in a few days.
Hmm.
And again, another person that I really want to give my reply to. So the comment was that this is just you justifying
Hmm.
your need to work. And I know so many mothers who quit their jobs and give up their careers to stay home for the kid. And
Hmm.
only if the kid could talk, you would hear him say, Mama, I need you. And
That is
all I want to say is that why you as a man, you're a man who are commenting on this post, why you as a man cannot hear your child say, Papa, I need you too. Why don't
yeah,
you give up your job and sit at home to tend to the child? Why do you expect, why is it okay for the mother to leave her job? It's expected of her to leave everything and just look after the baby. Why? What are you doing? Why are
yeah,
you supposed to be the breadwinner of the family? Why can't half the work be done by you and half the parenting be done by you as well? So
right,
what is this and how do I as a mother change that mindset? I'm going to change that mindset by letting my son know that in the morning I will give you your first meal, but the second meal your father will give you because I go to the gym to work out because I like it. That's my
right,
time. And when
right,
I go to office, your dad is going to be there. And when he goes to office, I'm going to be there. Some days I'll be shooting, some days he'll be shooting. And some days, it's all the same. Until the time I don't make that effort, how is his generation going to be any different from this generation or the previous one?
that is
So
so
yeah, that
important. That is so bang on, Chavi. Actually, I'm totally looking forward to that vlog whenever it's coming out. That is really important. Okay, so we will, after the heavy discussions we've had, I'll ask a lighter question. So, what made you say yes to Awakening the Rainmaker? I was like just a fan reaching out to you. So, what made you say yes to it? To
well, I'm not only looking out for trolls, Nishta, so that I can put my point across. I'm also looking out for people like you so that I can put my point across. So this is a great book that you've written and it has a great message and I'm only honored to be a part of delivering that message. So thank you for approaching me
thank book if you've had a chance to read it.
a little bit. Yes. Sorry, I missed you. I missed you in the middle.
Huh. So, I'm asking, what are your
Nisha, you're frozen. Is she frozen for everybody or am I frozen?
no, I can see you now. Can you see me now?
Okay, you just freeze. You say the two words of your question and you freeze.
Okay.
You're
Are
okay
you
now then.
good to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm asking, what are your favorite bits from the book? Like any favorite line, any favorite chapter?
Well, I can't put my finger on it, but I think the fact that you've got so many women together and you've actually made an effort to reach out to all of them and, you know, to help them share their story with the world in itself is great. So
Uh,
kudos to
thank,
you.
thank you so much. And why would you recommend people out there, like both women and men? Uh,
Sorry,
uh,
you froze again in the middle.
okay. Is it better?
Yeah.
So I'm asking, why would you recommend Awakening the Rainmaker to your fans, followers, and just people in general out there?
You want the funny answer or the serious answer?
I'll take both actually.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
go the
Funny
light.
answer is because there's my story also in it. So please read it. But to be honest, it's because it is something that everybody should read because it sends across a very it sends across a much needed message in today's times.
Right.
Women need to be heard, and also these women are figures of inspiration for so many other women out there. So 100% for that reason. Men should read it more than women.
Yeah, actually, this leads me to this question, Chavi, that what would be your messaging to men in general? Like why should they care about gender equality? And, through your content, be it with SIT or being woman, do you think you can play a role in getting that buy-in?
I really don't know, Nishtha, if any one person can make the change that is required, but
Hmm.
every drop counts. So I
Right.
just want to say that just because, it's like saying कि अरे अगर मैं plastic नहीं use करूंगा तो थोड़ी plastic खत्म हो जाएगा दुनिया से. But everybody has to make their share of effort. So
Right.
I'm making my share of effort and I would expect everybody to make just a little bit of effort on their part. And men play a very important role in it because because of the imbalance that there is, that is existing there today. When a woman says something in favor of a woman, it's called feminism. I don't like that word, but I feel that if men can also, understand why there needs to be a balance and what is that imbalance, if they can also identify it on their own, it will make a lot of difference, I think. Because when you fight for your own cause, people call you selfish, but when you fight for somebody else's cause, then it's like when your parents tell you something, you don't understand it as well, but when
Right.
somebody else tells you the same thing, you're like, oh yeah, they're right.
They're
It's
right.
exactly the same thing. That's why men play such an important role in it.
In fact, I just got reminded of one of the conversations I had in the book. This is, one of the leading bankers of our country. And she was told by one of her branch managers that, women are only meant for the role of receptionists. I don't think I want to hire one in core business operations. And this is where your point of, each one making doing their small bit and bringing about a change. So this lady said that, as a leader of that bank, I didn't really have to have a one-on-one conversation with that person, but I made just one simple comment that, I hear that your daughter just completed her engineering, so you think she's joining as a receptionist somewhere? And he just took offense and he's like, why? She'll join some large IT firm and she's an engineer. And so she said, that is what is the story of all the other women who apply to our bank as well. And that just changed that man's stance on gender equality completely when he could relate to it closer home. So somewhere I think on this part, especially for the men, even when I was writing this book, equality is not about man hating or men losing out on some privilege. It's just about building an equal world. And even men out there, there are men now with paternity leaves that have come up. Even men who want to take it are unable to take it because they feel that they'll be looked on as a softie and they're afraid to do those things. So gender equality is going to just, I feel, liberate everyone out there. It will give them a
Yes,
freedom to be themselves. Like as you said, at the end of the day, be yourself. And with
yes.
equality, that would hold for men too. That's very important.
Absolutely. And I have personally have a lot of guy friends who've actually done that for their kids. They feel the dad guilt as much as we feel the mom guilt. And that's exactly how it should be. And even Mohit, he himself was a celebrated director on television, uh,
Mhm.
very, very busy, but he also gave up his lucrative career because he wanted to stay with Ariza at home. He wanted
That
to
is
spend as much time with her as me. So it was literally the same thing for both of us. And that's
that's
how it should be. He never thought that, oh, I'm a man and I need to be the breadwinner. Or I didn't think that, oh, I'm an actress and I want to be that way. I want to be famous for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
That's what I want to do. No, none of us thought like that. We only thought about the baby and then we forgot who's the mother and who's the father.
I think that's great. Just moving away those gender roles, even as parents, is important. That's bang on. So, Chavi, another question which comes to my mind when I see your content on SIT and with being woman with Chavi, what sort of an impact are you trying to create? Like what's that motivation in your head when you're designing your content?
So see, it's not that we're trying to make an impact. It's not that there is a larger goal that we are trying to achieve. But there are certain rules that we have made for ourselves. There are certain restrictions and limitations that we have drawn for ourselves. We want the content to be healthy. We want it to be family viewing, and we want it to be um purely entertainment, but we also want a little bit of a messaging coming out through every video. We don't want it just comedy and just entertainment, but when you weave entertainment, when you weave a message in the form of an entertainment, it's just received better because you're watching the whole episode and enjoying with it, and you're not anticipating any kind of messaging coming at the end. That is the best way to sort of send across a message. So we whatever Mohit and I believe in, whatever philosophies we believe in, we try to just sort of, you know, put that in a garb of entertainment and put it across. That's all.
And I think that's the best way of getting the message across. Honestly, I'm myself a fan and I religiously follow your content, and I find it so relatable, especially on SIT too, when you show a young couple trying to manage a household and dual careers along. It's just brilliant. It's just
Thank you.
brilliant. Okay, so the last question, and then we'll move on to a quick rapid fire too. But the last question before that is, Chavi, now we have so many women, also men and women, and more so women as well, who are trying to look at the digital space to sort of start their career or restart their career. There are many women who are selling or marketing products, or they want to get into content creation, influencer. What would be your advice to them be like? How can they really approach being a part of this digital journey in India, which has
So I'm going to answer that in the most gender neutral way possible. Just not just for women, but for everybody out there who wants to be a digital influencer or wants to market a business uh, digitally. I want to say that first thing is please be yourself. Don't ape anybody because there are a lot of other people who would be selling a similar product, or there will be a lot of other people who will be creating similar content. But until and unless your content doesn't come from your heart, it's not going to connect with anybody. You don't try to route it through somebody else's heart and make it look like somebody else's content just because that person's content is relating to you, because that person's content is coming from his heart, he's being himself, so it's connecting with you. So that's exactly what you need to find. You need to find your own pulse, and you need to just develop and start developing from there. That's about it. And second thing that I want to say, that you cannot please everybody. You will have to make a niche for yourself. Like SIT also, we're 2 million on YouTube right now, but there are so many other channels who are so much bigger, you know. So I just want to say that you have to create your own niche. You cannot connect with all the people that are out there. A lot of people connect with us, a lot of other people connect with some other kind of content. Doesn't mean that, oh, this person is there on YouTube connecting with XYZ content, I want to also bring him back to my channel. It's not going to happen like that, because that is just going to confuse me. So whatever you're creating, create a niche for yourself, and you will have that very dedicated community that you build eventually.
I think that's very useful advice, especially on the bit of creating your niche. Like, then you can be true to your work as well. And it
Yeah.
shows, you're right. Once you're passionate about it, it shows in the quality as well. No doubt
Yes.
about it. Okay, so this has been really great, Shavi. And we'll just close the session with a quick rapid fire now. So are you all pepped up for quick
I'm no,
answers?
never.
Okay. I'll just take a deep breath and we'll start. I'll keep it short and quick ones. Okay. So we'll start now.
Okay.
So, one word that describes you the best.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Is
think
okay the word?
I'd say confident.
Oh, that's
Even
great.
if I make a mistake, I make it confidently.
Which is yeah, that's a takeaway for both men and women, I would say, like being gender neutral like that. Okay. So, what would you choose, like SIT or being woman with Chavi?
Oh, that's like you asking me to choose between Aram and Ariza. I can't
So,
choose one.
okay. Who's your role model?
Undoubtedly, my mom. I am what
Yeah,
I am because of the way she has been in my growing years.
that's actually great. When are you most inspired?
When am I most inspired? I think
Inspired, yeah.
all the time, all the time. I'm all the time inspired to do something or the other. It's different things at different times, but I'm always inspired.
That's actually great. Okay. One thing that you want the world to be.
COVID free right now.
That is so important. Yes, I think that's on top of everyone's mind. Okay, and on the final note, one takeaway for the audience from this session.
I think we have to stop looking at ourselves as men or women. I think
Yeah.
that's the most important. Just look at yourselves as humans first, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that is a very important takeaway. And on a lighter note, I think another important takeaway I would like to plug in is that go buy the book Awakening the Rainmaker. And it's going to really, help you to look at yourself as a human first. You're right, than just as a man or a woman. Thank you so much, Avi, for joining in, and thank you, Crossword, for arranging the session. And my publisher, I think Bloomsbury India as well, to be publishing a book on such an important topic of a debut author and investing all that hard work into really making sure that this book reaches more and more people and is able to bring about that change, because only when more people read it can they start relating to those ideas. We
Yes.
already have the link to crossword bookstores in the comment, since so you can buy from the comfort of your home as well. So stay safe, and thank you so much, Avi. Thank you so much for doing this. You have
Thank
any
you.
last
Thank you,
thoughts
Nishta.
or something?
Sorry?
You have any last thoughts to add on, or
No, I think you summed it up very nicely. I don't want to say anything else. Just thank you so much for having me here.
okay? Thank you. Okay, okay. Bye,